Imagine being thirsty in a world with no taps, no bottled water, no filters, no chlorine, no plumbing, no germ theory. You see a river ahead. It looks clear. It sounds clean. But upstream, there may be animal waste, a dead body, rotting plants, parasites, bacteria you cannot see. That water could save your life, or it could make you too sick to walk. So how did ancient humans survive without clean water? The answer is not that their water was always safe. It was not. People got sick, children died, diseases spread. Bad water has been one of humanity's greatest dangers for thousands of years. But ancient humans were not helpless. They survived by observing the landscape, choosing better sources, using fire, storing water carefully, and passing down hard-earned knowledge. Long before science explained microbes, people learned patterns. Some water made you sick. Some water did not. Some places were safer after rain. Some were dangerous after floods. Some pools smelled wrong. Some rivers were safer near the source. Some springs were trusted for generations. The first rule was source selection. Ancient people learned that not all water is equal. Fast-moving streams were usually better than stagnant pools. Springs could be safer than muddy ponds. Rainwater could be collected in clean surfaces or natural rock basins. Water from high ground was often better than water near crowded camps. Clear water was not always safe, but cloudy, foul-smelling, or stagnant water was more obviously risky. Humans are pattern recognition animals. If someone drank from a certain pool and became sick, the group remembered. If animals avoided a place, people noticed. If a spring kept flowing through dry seasons and rarely caused illness, it became valuable knowledge. This was survival memory, not written in books, written in stories, habits, taboos, and routes. Water shaped where people lived. Early groups did not wander randomly. They moved between known water sources, rivers, springs, lakes, seasonal pools, wetlands, snowmelt, rock depressions. They followed animals because animals also knew water. They watched birds, insects, vegetation, and tracks. Green plants in a dry area could signal moisture below. Animal paths often led to drinking places. A line of trees could reveal an underground stream. Finding water was not luck, it was skill. But finding water was only the first step. Making it safer was harder. One of the most important tools was fire. Boiling water can kill many dangerous microbes. Ancient people did not know the word bacteria, but they may have learned that heated water or cooked liquids were safer in some situations. Once humans controlled fire, they gained a powerful way to reduce water risk. The problem was that boiling required containers. Before pottery, boiling water was not as simple as putting a pot over a flame, but humans found ways. They could heat stones in a fire and drop them into water held in skins, wooden containers, bark vessels, or pits lined with material. This is called stone boiling. The hot stones transfer heat into the water. Later, pottery made boiling easier. Clay pots could hold water and sit near or over fire. That changed daily life. With pottery, people could boil water, cook soups, soften grains, make stews, and store liquids. Still, boiling was not always done. It took fuel. It took time. It required containers. And in hot climates, people might drink directly from sources because they had to. So ancient water survival was always a balance between risk, effort, and need. Another simple method was settling. If water was muddy, people could let it sit. Heavy particles would sink to the bottom. The clearer water could be poured off from the top. This did not remove invisible germs, but it improved water quality in some ways. Filtering through sand, gravel, cloth, or plant fibers may also have helped remove debris. Again, this was not modern purification, but it was better than drinking thick mud. Charcoal may also have been used in some filtering traditions because it can absorb certain impurities and improve taste. Ancient people may not have understood the chemistry, but they understood results. If water looked, smelled, or tasted better after passing through certain materials, the method could be repeated. Storage also mattered. A clean source could become dirty if stored badly. Water kept in covered jars was safer than water left open to dust, insects, and animals. In many ancient societies, clay jars became essential. Clay containers could keep water cool through evaporation in dry climates. Covered storage reduced contamination. Large households, villages, and cities needed systems for moving and storing water. As societies grew, water became not just a survival need, but an engineering problem. Wells were a major breakthrough. A well could reach groundwater below. Groundwater was often naturally filtered through soil and rock. That could make it safer than surface water. Wells allowed settlements to exist away from rivers. They also made water more reliable during dry periods. But wells had to be protected. If waste seeped into the ground nearby, the well could become dangerous. Ancient cities faced this problem constantly. More people meant more waste. More waste meant more contaminated water. This is one reason sanitation became so important. Some ancient civilizations built drainage systems, latrines, canals, aqueducts, reservoirs, and public waterworks. These systems were not perfect, but they show that people understood the connection between water, waste, and health in practical terms. They might not know about microorganisms, but they knew filth and sickness were connected. Fermented drinks also played a role in some societies. Beer, wine, and other fermented beverages were common in many ancient cultures. Fermentation can make drinks safer in certain contexts because alcohol, acidity, boiling during brewing, and competition from yeast can reduce some harmful organisms. This does not mean everyone drank alcohol instead of water all the time. That is a myth when stated too simply. People definitely drank water, but in some places and periods, weak beer or fermented drinks provided calories, hydration, and a safer option than questionable water. Ancient Egyptian beer, Mesopotamian beer, Greek wine mixed with water, and other traditional drinks all belonged to broader water cultures. They were not just recreation. They were part of daily nutrition, ritual, labor, and safety. Food also supplied water. Fruits, tubers, milk, blood from animals in some pastoral cultures, soups and stews all helped hydrate people. In dry environments, knowing which plants held moisture could save lives. Some groups followed seasonal food and water cycles closely. They knew when certain plants ripened, when streams dried, when rains came, when animals migrated. Water knowledge was environmental knowledge. There were also cultural rules. Some groups developed taboos about certain water sources. Do not drink from that pool. Do not camp downstream from waste. Do not use water after a flood until it clears. Do not drink where animals died. Do not disturb a sacred spring. To modernize, a taboo may look religious or symbolic, but some taboos preserve practical wisdom. They help a group remember danger. A rule does not need a scientific explanation to protect people. Ancient humans also relied on immunity and adaptation, but we should be careful here. It is true that people exposed to local microbes may develop some resistance over time, but this did not make them immune to dirty water. Waterborne disease still killed many people. Ancient survival was not clean or easy. It was often fragile. A contaminated source could devastate a group. An infected child might not survive. A traveler drinking unfamiliar water could become seriously ill. So the story is not ancient people had stronger stomachs. The story is ancient people reduced risk as best they could. They chose better water, moved when sources became unsafe, boiled or heated when possible, stored water carefully, avoided obvious contamination, used fermented drinks and cooked foods, built wells and water systems, and taught each other what worked. Children learned early. They learned where to drink, where not to drink, how to carry water, how to recognize a spring, how to collect rain, how to watch animals, how to judge smell, taste, color, and flow. A child who ignored water rules might get sick. A child who learned them had a better chance to grow up. This is how knowledge survived, through repetition, through warning, through memory, through loss. Every safe water habit probably had pain behind it. Someone drank from the wrong place. Someone got sick. Someone noticed. Someone remembered. That memory became advice. Advice became tradition. Tradition became survival. When farming began, water became even more important. Crops needed irrigation. Animals needed watering. Villages needed storage. People could no longer simply move away from bad water as easily. Permanent settlement created new risks. Waste accumulated. Diseases spread more easily. But it also created new solutions. Canals, cisterns, wells, public baths, drainage, rules about cleanliness. Water management became one of the foundations of civilization. In a way, civilization is the story of learning how to control water. Too little water and crops fail. Too much and floods destroy homes. Dirty water and disease spreads. Clean enough water and cities can grow. Ancient humans survived without modern clean water because they became experts in noticing small differences. The speed of a stream, the smell of a pool, the taste of a spring, the color after a storm, the birds circling a wetland, the insects near stagnant water, the mud at a riverbank, the sickness that followed a bad choice. They did not need microscopes to know water could be dangerous. They had experience, and experience was often brutal. So the next time you turn on a tap, remember how extraordinary that is. Clean water on demand is one of the greatest achievements in human history. For ancient humans, every drink was a decision. Every water source was a question. Is this safe enough? Can we trust it? Has anyone drunk here before? What happened? They survived not because the ancient world was cleaner. It was not. They survived because they learned, adapted, remembered, and built habits around danger. Water gave life. Water carried death. And human history was shaped by learning the difference.